this is working. Okay, so I think I don't want this to be incredibly boring, but it is important that we can read charts and graphs and all of that stuff properly. And a lot of times there are good charts and there are bad charts and charts that don't make sense. But we still have to try to do our best to understand what is being portrayed or conveyed in a chart. And sometimes a bad chart, there's no making sense of it. But if it's if there is a chart that's supposed to be understandable, then we should understand it. And so a lot of it just comes down to reading the labels on the charts and seeing what is represented. So go ahead. So look at this chart. Answer this question. Don't shout out your answer. We'll allow everybody a moment to think about what the answer is. So don't So don't shout it out. Don't shout it out. We want everybody to take a moment, read the labels, see what is being see the numbers, and see what is there. So we'll give everybody a moment to think. Or do you have an objection? No. Okay, you just think the answer.
I know that.
You know the answer. Yes. Yes. Okay. Is everybody ready?
12.
Okay, and the answer is?
Oh yeah, the second one.
The second one, the hours the appliance is used per day, and we show how much it's being used during the weekend versus the weekday. Yes?
Because you have to read mostly these two. It says appliances and then per hour or per day.
Yeah, average hours used per day. Yeah, exactly. And appliances, yeah.
I looked at the last one and I was like, wait, no, it's the day. It's the day.
Yeah. So, yes. So that was good. Nice. Vertical bar. Okay, there. Yeah, it says that is correct. Uh-oh. Okay. What do the numbers in the vertical axis represent? Again, just take a minute or a moment to think. Ooh, this. I don't know if I like any of these answer choices. I'm gonna go with
Wait.
No? Don't think?
Wait.
Don't think?
Wait, what are the numbers in the vertical axis?
Yeah, so you got 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24.
It's hours. It's the first one.
Hours in a day?
Yeah.
That's all they want to know.
24 hours.
Amount of
There's
electricity.
24 hours in a day, yeah.
Yeah. See, I want to say it should be hours the appliances used.
That's horizontal axis. They just want the vertical.
They just I mean, oh, okay.
Hours of use.
Yeah.
Hours of use in a day.
Yeah, and the red one represents the weekend.
Okay.
It's
All right.
the
Okay.
week.
Hours.
What do the numbers represent?
Yeah.
It's fine over it.
Let's see what this thing says. I would correct. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. I would have liked hours of usage in a day. Yeah. Sometimes. Okay. I'm not trying to trick you guys, but maybe this is okay. Let's look at the horizontal. Okay. Now, what is this?
Sorry, what's the word?
It is labeled appliance. Each appliance has 2 bars. What is measured by the blue bar?
The weekday.
Weekday hours of use. Okay, there we go. Excellent. I like how it's so affirmative in
Which appliance was the fridge?
All right, we'll give everybody.
Oh.
So
sorry.
again, I disagree with this question the way it has been phrased, but it should say, yeah.
But it's also the TV,
Because-
not just the.
Yeah, the fridge has the most hours of usage, not necessarily the most
Yeah.
electricity usage itself. But the way this is phrased, I think they're going for fridge here. 24 hours a day. Absolutely. Look at that. Absolutely right. You are a champion. Okay. So on average, how many hours is the computer used on a week? Okay, so shh. We'll let everybody come to their conclusion here. The computer, how many hours is it used on average per weekday?
2.
2, yes. Okay, so this must have been done in the 90s or something. I don't know.
Desktop.
Yeah. Or maybe desktop computers, then maybe the answer is 2. If it was your phone, it would be like 24 hours. It's like the fridge, right? All waking hours. Okay. Shh. How many hours is the heater used on the weekend? Okay. All right. Okay. Now what's the answer?
13.
13. Good. All right. Right. Not absolutely right this time. The orange bar. Okay. Is red. Come on.
Orange.
Yeah.
It's already very orange.
All right. Which appliances are used for an average of 5 hours a day more on weekends than on weekdays? Okay. So we'll let everyone think. I'm squinting and I'm trying to look. Okay, I see it. Okay. 5 hours more on the weekend than on weekdays. And what do we see? The lights and the heater. The light is used 12 hours weekdays and 17 on the weekend. And heaters 8 and 13. So lights and 13. Yes. We disagree about the color, but that's okay. Huh?
Oh, it's a red orange.
Red. Yeah, let's see. You know, the colors do look a little different on my computer screen than on the projector.
The lights.
Yeah, so who knows? After the refrigerator, which appliance is used most on weekdays? We would say lights. Okay. This quiz is easy. No. Which appliance is used twice as many hours on the weekends as it is on weekdays? Twice. All right. So what's our answer?
Computer.
The TV. The TV is 8 versus 4. Computer's like way more, 10 versus 2. So this would be 5 times as much TV. Twice.
Television.
Exactly. All right. 4 versus 8.
You're like, exactly.
Exactly.
Oh,
Okay.
second wrong. That's why I said
Oh, come on. And
that. Which appliance is used
for more hours on weekdays than on weekends,
of the above?
yeah, none of the above. Okay? They all seem to be used more on the weekend than on the weekday.
Yeah, because you have the kids over the weekend.
Yeah.
They're not at school. They wake up.
All right. Okay, so we're going to look at this graph now.
I don't think any can this house. All the time.
Why can you use all those more on the weekend
Yeah.
than weekday?
Computer will use more.
Cuz cuz on the weekday, I guess this is someone who goes away to work, right? Yeah. So usually
Well, lights is a lot for not being home.
yeah, 12 hours, I guess. I don't know, whatever. Who knows? Yeah.
Depends on the lights.
Maybe he leaves the porch light on in the middle of the night, ward off would-be burglars.
My dad, he leaves the TV turned on. So he
Oh man, come on, internet. Here we go.
Leave the TV on.
he'll leave the TV. If we're going on for like an hour or two.
It's
Okay, so this is a pie chart. Now, personally, I don't like pie charts.
I hate pie.
Very un-American.
Huh? As un-American? I feel like, you know, if it weren't for these numbers that say 10% and 12%, you know, and if I covered these up and I said which piece is bigger, the blue or the orange or the red,
There we go, now we're talking.
you know, you would say, well, I don't know, they look. But you know, because they put the numbers there, it's okay. And this pie chart was correctly constructed in that everything adds up to 100%. But sometimes you'll have pie charts where you add up the percentages and it doesn't add up to 100%, and then it's a disaster. So pie charts. We'll just answer like a couple questions with the pie charts. And we'll say, Tina spends the largest portion of her income on what?
rent.
Rent. Half of her money goes to rent.
All your life, you're gonna be working for rent.
Huh?
All your life, you're gonna.
I know. Well, if you're living in California, that's how it goes, right? If you go to,
Anywhere.
if you move to Kansas, it's like you're gonna spend more on your car payment than rent, because it's super. No, it's just super cheap. You can get like a 2-bedroom apartment for like $350 a month.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh no, but everything's so like distant.
It depends where you live. It depends where you live and
There's gotta be something.
who you like having for neighbors and stuff.
But depend what you do up there too.
Or you're gonna be.
Nothing to do with that.
That's the reason all of my family is like
Your family's in Kansas?
most of them, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Only my grandma and my mom and I are still
it's a lot cheaper out there, right?
there. Huge family.
Yeah. Okay. Tina spends blank percent of her income on clothing. 12%. Oh, this. Okay, this one. That's. I almost. Oh gosh. All right. Let's forget this now. Using the pie chart. I think reading the pie chart is okay. But all right. So this is reading a table. And this is candidates. This must be a municipal election, where we only have we have total votes cast by men and women in Smith who the men like, but the women do not. Right, 2,000 versus 500 men and women and things like that. Okay. So which candidate placed third? What are we going to look at?
The
Total votes, and we're going to say
Smith.
Smith. Oh, can the answer be found with the table?
Yes.
Yes, it can be. Okay. Which candidate got the most votes from the woman? Can we answer that with the table? Yeah, and that would be Lopez.
Maybe George Lopez.
Huh? George Lopez, yeah. And
George Lopez.
I'm sure there's more than one George Lopez out there. Which candidate was more popular among men than women? Yeah, we can also answer that. Which candidate got the most votes from senior citizens? No, we have no age information. What did they say? Oh, yeah. Yes, right. Absolutely. Correct. It's such a confidence booster right here. Oh, I didn't want this. Votes for Lopez by age group. Okay. Percentage of Lopez voters by age bracket. Can we answer this? Yes, that's the whole point of this chart here. Percentage of voters in each age bracket who voted for Smith. No. You are not on here. Okay, the age group that voted the most for Lopez. Yeah, well, this question is a little bit ambiguous, but I'm going to say yes. And I'll explain why I'm saying ambiguous here. And number of voters age 60 plus who voted for Lopez. No, we can only get the percentage for this one. We can only get the percentage. We can see that 10% of Lopez votes were 60 plus, but we don't get the actual number. Now, combined with this and the other graph, or other chart, we could, but not based on this one alone. And I say this one's a little ambiguous because it says the age group that voted the most for Lopez, this can be interpreted this one way as, we could say age 46 to 60 counted for 48% of Lopez's votes. But flipped around, we could imagine a chart for age 46 to 60 that was split up into this, 20% voted for Smith and 50% of those voters voted for Lopez and something like that. But did we get all these right? Right, correct. Yes, excellent. Thank you very much. Come on. Voting patterns among seniors. Okay, so this, we could imagine, so this would be the pie chart for the 60 plus, and we want to know, okay, so they voted for Lopez, Shen, Jones, and Smith. Can we answer what percentage of voters aged 18 to 30 voted for Shen? No. Okay. Which candidate were equally popular among senior citizens? Yes, Jones and Smith were. That Shen received 62 votes from senior citizens? No, 62% of the votes. And Lopez received about a quarter of the votes of the total senior citizen vote. Yes, that is correct. Correct. Excellent. Good thinking and right. Well, thank you very much. Reading charts exercise. Okay. So, what is this? Oh, it's another chart exercise thing. Okay. Let me think here. So I want to go into maybe reading a two-way table, which we saw earlier with the votes. Okay, so this is called a two-way table. And it's two ways because we have two variables that we're looking at. We can look at men who voted and women who voted, and I'm just going to make up numbers. Smith, Lopez, what did we have? Shen, and who was the other guy? Doesn't matter. Jones. And I think the other table we saw was formatted a little bit differently. But we could have the total vote here. So maybe 2,100 and 500 and 820 and 820 and Jones would be What? 1,000, sure, and 1,200. I feel like maybe I should make this number bigger. We'll say 1,800. Okay. So then we have a total of 2,600, 1,640, 1,670, 2,800. That was a close race.
That's not a lot of people in that population.
Yeah, no, only like
Kansas.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Yeah, it's like 8,000 people, right? Total. So it's a small town, and 4 people. It's a tightly contested race among 4 candidates in this town of 8,000 people. Or maybe this is thousands of voters, who knows? Then it would be 2.8 million. Then you have, that's a big metro area. It's like the state of Illinois. Yes?
Before you go on that topic, I read an article saying that that they did a pie chart.
Okay.
Saying that like white Caucasian Americans,
Mm-hmm.
and they vote, their votes are considered more than it's like all about race or something like that. I don't know if it might be true or not.
Well, they
I've heard.
white Caucasian voters are what?
Like,
What was the conclusion?
That they're concluding that the majority, besides we're not considered as much as white people actually. Do you know what I'm
What are you
trying to
talking about?
In the election? I don't think that's true. I mean, that sounds against the Constitution.
Yeah.
I think every vote is equal. It's just maybe they were saying with the Electoral College, because things get messed up in the Electoral College, that it comes down to certain swing states.
Early after abolition, the flag was
The 3/5 compromise back in the the day with yeah.
I think she's talking about voting by district.
Uh-huh.
Like if you take recently Palm there, like they used to have an old system of vote, and now I think now it's a new system of vote. It's not based on how many square you gotta live on that. It's based on the number of people on that district.
Oh, like yeah, I don't know. It's not voting. Yeah, they've complicated things, and districts are drawn by state legislatures, and so and so districts might be drawn in such a way that it favors one demographic or another. That may be the point of the article. I'm not sure, but in terms of which vote counts for what, I don't think they have. There's no like when you fill out your voter registration, you don't fill out what race or ethnicity you are, right? You just
They don't ask them?
not on voter registration.
Because
They
my
just-
grandma gets it in her mail and her
Yeah,
little
census
book.
they do, but voter registration they ask what political party you want to be affiliated with, if any, and everything else, and then, but otherwise there'd be a huge lawsuit about this, like a very systematic discrimination, and I mean there's already well, this is a whole nother topic beyond what we were going to get into in our
No, because it just
class. So
reminded me of, the article I was reading, but I just didn't want to pay attention to it anymore because I was just getting mad.
so
Bring it in.
how the districts are drawn, it's complicated, and for as long as people can remember, gerrymandering has existed to try to take advantage of certain things, and with the Electoral College, it you know, the campaign funding ends up going only to the swing states and things like that. I don't know if there's any one system that will be perfect, but you know, I think we are aware of some of the shortcomings of the current system, but if there's another system that would be much better or not, it's hard to know. So, well, anyway, back to two-way tables. We can ask questions such as what percentage of all voters voted for Jones? Okay. And how would we answer this question?
1,000 divided the sum of the other three.
So we would need we would take this number 2,800 and we would divide by the total number of votes. And so this requires coming up with a total row here, and we would have to add up these four numbers. So I would do 2600 plus 1640 plus 1670 plus 2800, and I get a total of 8,710 votes. Okay, so we would have 2,800 divided by 8710. Yeah, for 32.14. Yeah, 147%. Okay, we probably don't need that many decimals of precision. Okay. Now, this is not the section on significant figures, but how many significant figures would our answer have if we did a percentage?
2.
So the answer is an infinite number of significant figures, because neither of these are measurements. These are counts. Okay, so we just counted how many voters we have, and we counted how many total votes we have. So there's technically significant figures don't get counted in. We have technically an infinite number of significant figures.
That's a bad election. Nobody got the majority.
Yeah, this is, you know, you have different systems. So depending on different states and their policies and municipalities, the person might take office with this, or they might have a runoff election with the two highest voters. Or, I mean, not voters, two highest candidates. Okay. So what percentage of all voters voted for Jones? That answer would be 32.147. Okay. We could ask, what percentage of male voters voted for Jones? And what would I need to do for this question? I would do, what goes in my numerator here?
1,000.
Yeah, 1,000, right? Because now we're only looking at the column of male voters. So I would have 1,000 divided by the total number of male votes. So how many male voters do we have?
4,550.
4,000 what?
550.
4550, thank you. So we would have 1,000 divided by 4550, and we get another percentage. Point 21978. So yeah, about 22%, if we wanted to round off. Okay, and notice this question is different from this one. What percentage of Jones's voters, this is not, let me just write Jones apostrophe, debatable, were male? And what would our answer here be? 1,000 divided by 2800. So you get 0.3571, 35.71%. Okay. And this question is further different from, let me just erase this infinite significant figures thing. Here, let's just, it's much easier this way. Okay, what percentage of voters are male and voted for Jones?
That's different, isn't it?
Yes. So what would the fraction be here? So what percentage of voters, so now we're looking at all the voters, how many of those are male and voted for Jones? So we're still looking at these 1,000 people here,
Would it be
divided by, what am I, I'm going to divide by 8,710, okay? So the bottom question down here, what percentage of male voters voted for Jones? We're asking, of all the male voters, how many voted for Jones? And the answer to that is 1,000 over 4,550. Okay, so about 22%. Over here we're asking what percentage of Jones's voters, so we have a total of 2,800 voters who voted for Jones, and of those 1,000 are male, so we have 1,000 over 2,800. And then this last one says what percentage of voters, so we're talking about all voters, and there's 8,710 of them, what percentage of all voters are males who voted for Jones, or are males and voted for Jones? And there's still only 1,000 of those. So 1,000 divided by 8710, and that's going to give us a different fraction, or a different percentage. So 0.115, okay, 11.5% basically. We have all of this in our notes and we're good? Okay, so yeah, I guess we should, you know, questions can be phrased just ever so slightly differently, and the resulting implication or answer is pretty drastically different, right? Is this okay?
Yeah.
All right. So now I want to introduce kind of this concept of we call these independence between variables. Okay, so in our chart here we have two variables. Okay, we looked at someone's gender, so that's one variable, either they're male or female, and we looked at their candidate choice. They either voted for one of these four. And we want to know, does being male or female, is that tied to their choice of candidate? Okay. And if gender is linked to candidate choice, then we would say the variables are not independent, or the variables are dependent on one another. If the candidate choice and gender are not linked, then we say the variables are independent. Okay? So basically, in essence, we're asking something along the lines of, does being a woman make you more likely to vote for one candidate over another? Or does being male make you more likely to vote for one candidate or another? Okay? And from our table, I think we're going to see the answer is yes. Okay? And so sometimes, and I think it's true in real life politics, your gender is not, I shouldn't say your gender makes you more likely to vote for a certain way or not, but if we looked at the statistics as a whole, and we looked at which gender overall voted more for Republicans versus Democrats versus another gender, were they more likely to vote for Republicans or Democrats, we would see there's a link. Okay? So, or another example is, you know, if you are from Los Angeles, okay, there is a greater probability that you voted Democrat in the last presidential election. Okay, if you're from Los Angeles. Okay, and of course, any individual, it's not necessarily going to be the case, but overall, Los Angeles County voted very, quote, blue. Okay, but if we went to someplace in Texas, okay, we looked at Dallas, Texas. Overall, those counties there voted red, okay, in supporting the Republican candidate. And so we would say the location and the political party are dependent. They are linked to one another, okay? On the other hand, we have things that are independent. So if we had a way to measure intelligence, okay, and we have overall intelligence in Los Angeles County, overall intelligence in Dallas County, or not Dallas County, but there's several counties that make up the metropolitan area of Dallas, we would not see a huge difference between the overall average intelligence over there and in Los Angeles, okay? You know, say what you want about Texas or Dallas, but overall, the average intelligence, there's not going to be a huge difference, okay? So those are independent, exactly, okay? Or if we asked what percentage of people like pizza in Los Angeles versus people who like pizza in Dallas, you're not going to see a huge difference. You're going to see about, you know, whatever, this percentage of people like pizza over there, about the same percentage of people like pizza in Los Angeles. So those are independent, okay? So if you see a difference, you know, what percentage of people voted Republican in the last election, you're probably going to see higher numbers in Dallas than over in Los Angeles. So we'd say that's dependent. If it's around the same, then you say they're independent. Okay?
What would it be dependent on?
So the what is causing,
Yeah.
that is not, the numbers cannot answer that. Okay? So we can't answer why Los Angeles is more likely to vote Democrat than Dallas is. The numbers don't tell us why. All it does is say, this is what we're observing. This is what we see. Yes.
Is it because like it's like we're mixed, like
You know, so traditionally, so there's a lot of theories, but they're all theories, and nobody knows exactly why. But traditionally, it's true. Minorities are more likely to support liberal candidates than non-minorities. But as to why that is, it's difficult to say. Generally, you know, all sorts of theories, and you can study political science. Again, I'm not here to explain all of that and give us reasons why. I'm just trying to show that with the numbers we can see that. Yes.
But political scientists would use tons of different variables to try and find connections.
Right,
between
right,
different
and
people voted different ways.
yeah, and so that yeah,
The theories that way.
yeah. So there's all sorts of things. Yeah, I don't know enough in the subject to begin to give a good answer to this. Okay. But it is it's a known thing that in general, they say Democrats have been able to rely on the minority vote. They would say things like that. Maybe that seems to be changing also, but it's.
I think Republicans also put it on themselves that they put themselves in that situation that.
It's hard to say exactly why, and I don't want to get into that because that's not what I was trying to do here. Anyway, just want to show, can we see if something is linked? Are they dependent or independent? Okay, so dependent suggests there is a link, and we don't know exactly what it is, but there is a link between the two variables. So for example, in LA, more likely to have Democrat voters. Okay, and I don't want to alienate anybody who voted Republican. Okay, it's just in Los Angeles County as a whole, there's more Democrats, and that's just what the statistics show. Okay, versus in Dallas, okay, less likely to have Democrat voters. Okay, and so we would say the location and the party are dependent, okay? So how can we begin to answer this? Well, what we should see, okay, if they are independent, if the candidate choice and gender are independent, then the following numbers should be the same. Okay, so if the candidate choice and gender are independent, then, okay, what we should see is that we should see the same proportion of female voters or male voters, just pick one of the genders. We should see the same proportion of female voters for all candidates. Well, across all candidates, I should say. The same proportion of female voters across all candidates. Okay? So what that means is that, so if gender, if they are independent, then what we should see you know, what percent of Smith voters are female? Okay, this should be equal to the same as what percent of Lopez voters are female. Okay, so whatever answer that is, and that should be the same as what percent of Shen voters are female. Okay, all of them should be equal if gender has nothing to do with candidate choice. Does that make sense? Okay, so that if 50% of Smith's voters are females, then 50% of Lopez voters should be female, and 50% of Shen voters should be female, because what we're saying is that the gender has nothing to do with candidate choice. Okay? So what is the answer to this question? What percentage of Smith voters are female? Yeah, so we would do 500 divided by 2,600, right? Okay, and we would get a little bit less than 0.25. 500 divided by 2,600. Oh, I'm sorry, less than 20%, 19%, right? So 0.19. Okay? Yeah, so, yeah, 19% or 0.19. What percentage of Lopez voters are female? We would do 820 divided by 1640, and it gives us 50%. So right off the bat, we know it is not independent, okay? Because these answers are different. Only 20% of Smith voters were female, or 19% of Smith voters were female, whereas 50% of Lopez voters were female. So we know that gender played a role. We don't know exactly why or how. We don't know what these people campaigned on. Maybe Smith was like, we want women to stay in the kitchen or something, you know, and that's and so, you know, maybe a lot of men voted for that and the women didn't. You know, we don't know. We don't know what happened. Okay. And maybe Lopez said something else or whatever, but so we see that these answers are different, so we would say gender and candidate choice are dependent. All right? Is that okay? Okay, so let me try an example for you guys to try out. Or can I change slides? I just did. Okay, so let's say we'll keep it simple here. So we'll ask we'll say wears glasses and versus no glasses. And we'll have left-handed versus right-handed. And let's say we have,
We can just do the class survey.
a class survey?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm just going to make up some numbers here. Okay, so then I'm going to make totals. Wait, I added something up wrong. Oh, this is 120. That's what's going on. Okay, so we'll say is handedness independent of wearing glasses? Is there a link between the two? Or not? Okay, well, maybe we can say yes or no right off the bat, but if we wanted to show the math, what things should be equal? So the answer, so if they are independent, what should be equal? We would ask what percentage of what? What percentage of glasses wearers are left-handed? This should equal
Right-handed glasses wearers.
not right-handed glasses wearers, but what percentage of,
Left-handed non-glasses.
yeah, so what percentage of non-glasses wearers are left-handed?
Would you do the same with right-handed?
You could do the same with
But
right-handed.
better you can get it with this, right?
Yeah, it just, so it's important that we do choose the right things to be equal. So it should be what percentage of something, so this part changes, what percentage of this part, this changes, but then are left-handed, this part stays the same across the two questions. Okay, so this stays the same, but this part changes.
But you could also have glasses.
Yeah, you could, you know, I picked wears glasses and left-handed, okay? But you could do what percentage of, and you could flip them around, okay? And here, I'll do another example. But, okay, so just another example that would be perfectly valid, okay? But again, the front part, the percentage of that part changes, and the other part doesn't. So we could ask, what percentage of whatever right-handers don't wear glasses? And if I ask this question, this should be equal to what? What percentage of left-handers don't wear glasses? Exactly. Okay, so again, this part doesn't change and the other part does. So what percentage of this changes, and this part stays the same. Okay, because if you if you set, if you ask this question and this question and they don't match the way they're supposed to, then your conclusions will be off, okay? And so over here, what is the answer we get? What percentage of glasses wearers are left-handed? What's the answer there? We would do, what the fraction would be 10 divided by 80. Is that right? So we have 80 people who wear glasses total. Of those, 10 are left-handed. Okay? And over here, we have what? What percentage of non-glasses wearers? We have a total of 120 people who don't wear glasses, and of those, 15 are left-handed. And so the answer here is 0.125, and the answer here is 0.125. They are equal, so that means they are independent. Okay, these are equal, so they are independent. Okay, and we could do, we'll do the same thing here. Okay, so what percentage of right-handers don't wear glasses? Okay, so what would we do? 105 divided by 175. Okay, and over here I would have, what percentage of left-handers don't wear glasses? 15 divided by 25, right? So let's check, we'll check the math here, okay? So if I clear this out, 105 divided by 175 gives me 0.6. Okay, and then 15 divided by 25, also 0.6. Okay, so these two are equal, so they are independent. These two are equal, so they're independent. So and any setup that you do will be equal as long as you do it correctly, right? So the front part, what percentage of right-handers changes to what percentage of left-handers, but then this part stays the same. Don't wear glasses, don't wear glasses. So what percentage of right-handers don't wear glasses? 60% of right-handers don't wear glasses. What percentage of left-handers don't wear glasses? 60% of left-handers don't wear glasses. That means being right-handed or left-handed has nothing to do with whether someone wears glasses or not. Same thing over here. What percentage of non-glasses wearers are left-handed? 12.5%. What percentage of glasses wearers are left-handed? 12.5%. So whether you wear glasses or whether you wear glasses or not, you have the same percentage of people who are left-handed. So that indicates that those two are independent. Okay. But if you set up your thing wrong and you said what percentage of glasses wearers are left-handed and you wanted to check that against what percentage of left-handers don't wear glasses, you get 0.125 and 0.6, and you'd say, well, that's different or something. That's not how you set it up, okay? The front part changes, the second part stays the same. Okay? Does that make sense? Okay, so I think we'll stop there, and then Sarah can come in with an announcement here.